Zoroastrianism. But I was just wondering, I probably have to head off in a bit,
No
but
problem.
I thought it was really interesting the line we were going down with Mithraism
Yeah,
and them being a secret society,
yeah.
possibly like stemming to secret societies that exist today. And
I would
was
say that the Roman Catholic Church
yeah,
just changed its name, like as in just changed its figurehead,
just changed the
but
figure.
didn't change its religion. The Roman Catholic Church,
Imperial household.
symbolically, as in, I would argue 90% of the symbols of Roman Catholicism are Mithraic,
Yeah.
but they've just been attributed nominally to Jesus.
Yeah. So isn't there the very early on the depictions of Mithra where he would like carry a sheep on his back?
You asked me about this.
Yeah.
I always felt like that was Apollo, but Mithras is
Mithra and Apollo,
syncretized with Apollo. Yeah.
with Apollo, and I'm saying there was a discovery of like an artifact of Jesus, like as depicted by the Romans,
Yeah.
in like the first 300 years after his death, and he was carrying like a sheep on his back,
Right.
in a very similar way to the figure of Apollo,
Right.
in a very similar way to the figure of Mithra,
Right,
and yeah, I just find it really interesting, like that there was this kind of tension between Mithraism, which was, as you mentioned, a religion of the elites in the Roman Empire,
Yeah.
and the religion of Christianity, which is also a popular religion in the empire, as
Yeah.
in who is going to win out as the religion for the Roman
Like,
Empire.
from a military perspective, Mithraism was the religion of the officers, and Christianity was the religion of the infantry.
But the infantry, didn't they celebrate Christmas in a way? Like Mithra's birthday is Christmas, right? Like
Yes,
25th December to
the winter solstice.
The winter solstice. So Mithra's birthday was a popular celebration by the Mithraic infantry.
Yeah, yeah.
So why was it just the officers you're saying that were Mithraic, or like even the infantry?
Not exclusively. I think if we were painting very broad strokes, then
it would have been a more military kind of.
But that being said, and we find this in other sort of more modern, in our modern concept of secret societies.
Yeah.
It's kind of it kind of levels the playing field. You can find someone who adopts a very high status in their everyday life, being subordinate to someone who in their ordinary life would be far inferior to them. Yeah. So someone could be cleaning your shoes out in public, but be your superior in the temple of Mithras. And one would ascend through a series of rituals or rites.
Handshakes and stuff.
Yeah. Handshakes and salutes.
Okay.
And, interestingly, ashen crosses on the forehead.
And with Mithraism, right? So you're saying it was always some element in the Roman Empire that was worried that this is some kind of subversion or some influence from the Persian Empire.
Yeah. It was explicitly called the Persian god.
It's explicitly so, like in the Roman Empire, there's this figure of the Roman god that's becoming synonymized with the figure Apollo.
Right.
And I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I feel the reason Christianity won out in the end...
Sol Invictus.
Yeah, and Sol Invictus. The reason Christianity won out in the end is because that wasn't a foreign god to the Roman Empire. It was a foreign god, but not in the way that the Persian Empire is to... Like, it was a foreign god to a subordinate people. So the Jewish people were subordinate.
Who lived in some harmless backwater of the Roman Empire.
They saw them as backwards.
Right.
And
whereas Mithras is seen as the god of the rival.
A real rival. So they would rather worship the god of a subordinate people than the god of the opposing empire.
If you think, if on a spiritual level, the bulk of your population is worshipping the god of your rival, this would present an incredible national security risk. Because it means your people on a spiritual level are sympathetic with the enemy. Oh, we worship the same god. And that opens the door to, probably in the mind of Constantine, an incredible threat to Rome's security. And it was incumbent on him, I suppose, to close that trapdoor and adopt a new figurehead for their universal religion, which ultimately became the figurehead of the Roman Empire. But the Pope still wears the hat named after Mithras, the mitre. The symbols are all there.
And so, what's the relationship between Sol Invictus and Mithra? Sol Invictus is like a alternative, is it a more futurized version of Apollo, right? Because Apollo was the Greek god.
Yeah.
Sol Invictus was that Greek god developed
the unconquered sun.
Into the Roman kind of version. There's this there's these three figures: Jesus, as according to the Christians; Apollo, this ancient Greek god; Sol Invictus, this Roman version of that Greek god; and four gods, Mithra. They're all becoming syncretized with each other. They're all synonymizing with each other. They're all doing very similar things, and according to the way they've been understood by the Romans. And it was just a matter of choosing which one is going to be the one we're going to go with, and which one is going to become the Catholic version of this, the most universal version. And for them, having Jesus alayhi salam turned into this figure as the universal one made the most sense at the time, right? Because they had the threat from the Jewish people.
The least threatening, yeah.
They had the threat. It was for internal security and stability.
Yeah.
It made the most sense to make Jesus that figure because it would pacify. They
could even argue that he was a Roman in some.
Yeah, they could even twist it in that way.
Yeah.
But it would pacify the Jewish people, according to them, if they could try and make them into this pacified version of their religion, which is Christianity. It would not be a foreign enemy god like Mithra. It would kind of universalize Apollo and Sol Invictus, because Apollo and Sol Invictus are very Greek Roman gods, and they wanted a wider god for their empire to kind of universalize their religion. So it makes complete sense, yeah.
Sol Invictus is obviously a solar deity.
Yeah.
Mithras actually at his core is not the sun. Mithras is the herald of the sun.
Okay.
He precedes the sun, which is dangerous in a way because it also then conjures images of the light bringer.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mithras we are conjured images of Mithras traversing the sky in his solar chariot in advance of the sun. And that's where we get things like the military salute, with shielding our eyes. In this rite of ascension in the cult of Mithras, one would shield his eyes from the radiance emanating from Mithras' solar chariot. And we see quite a bit of such imagery even in like modern militaria.
Even Statue of Liberty, right? Where she's like holding the torch and she's an androgynous figure like Mithra.
Yeah.
So the way, it's very interesting also, like the way all four of these figures we're talking about, there's been an element of androgenization of them by
Jesus?
by the Romans. Yeah, in a way they've androgenized him in a way that they've taken away the man aspect of him, like the fact that he was a man.
Oh, you mean in terms of like taking away his, like he didn't marry, he didn't undertake relations with women. Yeah, that's I've never looked at it from that perspective, but that may be. Well, certainly the androgyny of Mithras. So you can even look back in terms of like Persian culture. Mithra, the Persian rendering of Mithras. Yeah. We also have a second name for Mithra, which is Mehr.
Okay.
And Mithra is a woman's name. Yeah. Mehr is a kind of unisex prefix to either a man or a woman's name.
Sure.
One of the rites of ascension in the cult of Mithras is called the rite of the nymphus, or also known as the rite of the bridegroom, where a male adherent, because all Mithraists ostensibly were men, he would play the role of the bride. So a man would wear a woman's gown, and images of Mithras, in the images of Mithras we see him wearing a crescent diadem, so like a tiara.
You also see that syncretized with Jesus alayhi salam, like where they depict him with the crown of thorns.
Yeah, that's one way. That may be one way of looking at it. So we see Mithras wearing the tiara, which emanates rays of the sun, which we also see in Sol Also in the Tauroctony scene, which is the most famous rendition of Mithras, where he's kind of he looks like he's riding the bull, and he's plunging his dagger into the back of the bull and looking away.
Yeah.
We see this as an astrological image. It's bringing about the end of the age of Taurus. However, in this image, we also see the two like cherub-type figures holding aloft torches. So in the Statue of Liberty, we see what looks like a woman, but may actually just be an androgynous male wearing something like a wedding gown, with the crescent diadem emitting rays of the sun, holding a torch.
Okay.
And it's said that with the emergence of Christianity in the Roman world, Mithraism went even further underground, ultimately playing an important role in other secret societies that have made their way even through to the modern day. The creator of the Statue of Liberty, Bartholdi, was a Freemason. And it may well be that he was quite consciously rendering Mithras. So it's not the Statue of Liberty, it's the Statue of Mithras.
Good to see you, man. How you doing? Yeah, all good. Sorry.
No problem. No worries.
How's things with
you too. Nice to see you. Will do.
You've got my contact details, right?
I'm not sure. Oh, thank you.
You got a business card now?
Got my contact details.
Yeah, of course, man. It's okay.
I'm going to look into that Islamic viewing of Ezra. And then I'm going to build one of my theories around it.
It's really fascinating, right? Like these figures, and yeah, I mean, I know. You said like you don't want to combat it from an Abrahamic angle, but like if you look at, and I'm sure you've developed similar points about Islam, which I think we addressed a few times, about like the Parthians and them in the Battle of Badr, and stuff, which you talked about, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
But, hopefully,
I'll make it on camera one day.
I like we can do it now. So.